Okay, our next topic what we are going to deal today is how Spiritist activities in group has promoted well-being for us and for other people. And here is the content of our presentation. We have example case from Brazil, we have example case from Europe, several use cases from Europe. Then we look what kind of society we are living here in Europe. And we look what Spiritism can clarify for us in our society where we are. And what kind of well-being Spiritism can promote in our living environment. And then we look to have what is the importance of group instead of single individual activity. And then we will come to conclusions. And I would like to show this image of the earth where we are all connected each other. So we have seen that we have different nationalities here from different locations. So somehow we are connected with each other. The first of the thing I would like to show the example case from Brazil. And it happened some time ago. I was living in Brazil. And I get known people who were knowing Spiritism, and also they were having, let's say, showing some unquestionable evidences that there is something above Mother. So I went to visit in Spiritist Center, and I learned something about open lessons, and I learned something about books. And it gave for me initial understanding. There I started to understand that, okay, maybe there will be something else than our physical life. Maybe there is something else. But still I was, let's say, quite skeptic and looking at the people who were doing the things that they must be somehow, let's say, fascinated people, and they may have some kind of religious fascination. I was not looking so much for that, but later on I get more interested because they were showing very nice attitudes and they were showing very good attitudes in their lives. So I decided to participate some study groups and some group activities. And in these group activities we visited different kind of people which they were helping. We visited in mental health problem hospital, psychiatric hospital. We were visiting hospital where people were having, I don't know how to say, leprosy. There was people with that, they were helping them. And this Spiritist center, they were also visiting and helping these people which are living in nearby the Spiritist center. And the most of them, they were really poor conditions. They were having not possibility to survive. They had more small children. So the Spiritist center arranged for small children place to stay, gave, education to children, and gave possibility to eat warm food. Most of the cases, when the kids which were received in Spiritist Center, it was only warm, let's say, wood food, only warm meal what they were having that day. And they were promoting a lot of important things for their living environments. And it was funny, it was, I would say not funny, but it was somehow very touching to see the families, and especially some mothers, when they were having very complicated situation, no food, no money, you have 3 kids, hunger. The father of the family typically went to the drugs or alcoholism. Sometimes this lady gets kicked or violated, and no hope. It was a very complicated situation for this young lady, and it was possible to see how the hope somehow arrived to him. It was possible to see hope in her eyes. And she was seeing when the kids were going back from the daily activities with good nutrition and with good care. It was something there was no value for. So I was visiting with this Spiritist group, and also they were arranging in this Spiritist center for people who are having different kind of problems, depression, problems with relations with father or mother or with some relatives, different kind of problems, and they gave immediate help and relief for suffering. And they started to explain the reason all of these things, and they gave, let's say, initial nutrition, initial understanding that it is possible to overcome all of these challenges what we will have in our life. And it was based on this clarification, it gave hope and faith for the future. But I would like to highlight here that in my personal case, it was needed open lessons and books. It was needed to understand, let's say, to join the study group and these group activities, because only with this it was possible to start something happen here in my mind. And to look in these examples from the efforts what these people were doing for other people without any request for any compensation. They made me think, and it started to make new picture for my life. It started like giving this explanation for certain things what I have always been questioning. And I can tell you for you a story from small bag of rice. It was one of the devoted volunteer workers of this Spiritist group. She was very, let's say, poor woman. The mother of 2 children. Father, I don't know where it was, and she even didn't know where it was. His father, for some problems, has disappeared. And this lady had so much problems, she even couldn't pay the bill of his electrical bill. And in Brazil, when we are having over 30 degrees temperature during the day, if you don't have a fridge to put your food, milk and whatever the food will be, you can't use it. It makes a lot of problem if you don't be able to have electric energy and water in your hand with 2 small kids. But still, this small and poor lady, every month, she had almost nothing. But every month she brings more bag of rice for these people who were having nothing. For these children which were living in the street and were hungry and having nothing. So then I was looking myself. This woman really knows something what I don't know. There is something different in her. She was so devoted, and she was not claiming, she was saying that that's my situation now, and I know that it will come better. But still, from nothing, she was willing to divide or this small bag of rice. So I would say that this lady, she was one of the biggest teachers for me. Her attitude and her devotion was meaning a lot for me when I was looking, and I was not being able to understand. So it's not her face, actually I took somebody from internet, but she was somebody who was suffering in her life, but still dedicating to help other people. And it showed example from her inner moral development and strength. She was being able to do something what I couldn't be able to think myself that I could do. I could never be so highly morally elevated with so hard strength in her heart. So this was one case of the Brazil where I get known Spiritism, and I can tell you that they were making a lot of good things in their living environment. Then I can tell you one story. This is actually from Poland. And it tells about a lady who had only son. And she was taking this growing and living with her only son alone. And her son came to the age of 18 or 19 years old, and then his son was detected cancer. And it was very aggressive cancer. And doctors told to her that, okay, we can do nothing. Your son will die in a few months, and you can decide if you want your son staying in hospital or in your home. But we can do nothing. Everything is gone. And this son was meaning so much for his mother that it was everything for her. So she decided that, okay, if we can do nothing, then I just want to spend this last time what it is possible with my son. And then she cancelled her work and made that kind of an arrangement that she would be able to stay with her son. So, after a few months, her son died, and his son really died in her hands. She was holding her son when his son disincarnated, and it was very strong impact on her life. And she was looking that there was no meaning in life. So she decided, okay, it's time for me to go now. I don't have no reason to continue here. So she went to the bookstore, bought some books. She went to her home, closed the doors, and she was thinking, okay, I will read some books, and then I will make suicide, and then I will go away. And it was interesting that one of these books, what she took there, it was one book of Allan Kardec. The name of the book is Heaven and Hell. And after reading this book, she really changed her idea. And as well I know, she is today helping for these mothers who has been losing her kids. And I personally met her, and I asked for her, can we tell your story for others? And the response was, yes, I love Spiritism. Please make Spiritism more known. So this is real case. And this is real case from our living environment where we live today. And if we look this case, we can make some important observations. It was enough for her just to read a book to change her destiny better. She rises from deep depression to volunteer worker to help others. And now this good influence is spreading among these people who are facing the same situation. The needed steps were somebody has arranged books there and good spirits gave intuition. So when this lady, dedicated lady with her son, arrived at the bookstore, for looking, okay, I will take some books. Do you think that it was, let's say, coincidence that book of Allan Kardec came to her hand? We understand that it was not coincidence. So we can see that under loving care of Providence and her of her own effort with Spiritist information, it gave her moral strength to construct better future for herself and for other people. That's the way to happiness. And we have to understand that the long-term consequences surely are much more significant than these immediate results. So we remember that when every person who is committing suicide, it's having influence for 10 other people in her society. And it's very bad, it's very depressing, it's bad influence. So instead, that influence brought these 10 other people. Now she is preventing suicide of these people, which she is dealing every day and monthly, 1 year, year after year, etc. And these which she is dealing with them, then they have also the continuation of this influence. So we can't imagine how much difference this young, brave lady is doing now. And what was needed for that? Somebody had arranged book there and good spirits came into action. That's all. And so fine, beautiful thing happens. There is another case which is also linked to suicide. There was one small study group, and there was different kind of members of this study group. And there was later on one of these members told that, okay, she was there, she was having really bad time, she was not telling to nobody, but she had already planned everything for her suicide. Everything was planned. But during these study sessions, she started to think different way. And after these study sessions, she started to work to get this information for other people. And I asked from her, can we tell your story for others? And she responded, yes, the information I received saved my life. So this is real case. These are real case from our society. And there is one more important observation. It was needed to her to read books, participate, study, and open lessons to get more info. She rises from deep depression to volunteer worker to make Spiritism better known for more people. Now this good influence is spreading, and she feels motivated to proceed her work in prevention of suicide. And she continues to have problems, but she is always overcoming these problems. Next step. Somebody arranged study group there and good spirits gave intuition. So she very interested to know more. She read the book, but she were willing to know more. So they were established Spiritist group to study, and he got information from that, and she joined that, and he saved her life. And under loving care of Providence, her own efforts, which were for sure very not easy for her, with Spiritist information gave her moral strength to construct a better future for herself and for other people. And this is the way to happiness. And once more, long-term consequences are surely more significant than these already known results. So we know already now that it's multiplied by 10. And if we look at the following years, she's doing wonderful work. She's doing wonderful work. This phase is not here. One story of unknown mediumship. We get know one lady, young and brave lady. She was living like normal young lady is living. She had one son, and she still has one son, and she had mediumship, ostensive mediumship. And in certain cases and certain situations, she gets strongly obsessed. And she were under the control of the spirit, doing some, let's say, very shocking things. And it came to that level that in certain situations there were 4 people holding her because she was so aggressive. And end to the situation that in one case there were people just about to call doctor to treat her. And we understand that it's not far step from psychiatric hospital and very difficult situation for mother of small son. So that was the situation in this lady. Then it was informed to her that, okay, you are welcome to study basics of Spiritism, but also to understanding the mediumship. And she has been very devoted for that. And now, I would say she is very balanced. There is not happening anymore this kind of disturbing mediumship manifestations. And she has been starting to use her mediumship capabilities to help suffering spirits. So if we make some observation, it was needed for her to read books, participate study group, and open lesson to get more info and understand her own situation and responsibilities as medium. I have to look my time schedule because otherwise I will be too late. So needed steps. Somebody arranged Spiritist philosophy basic study and mediumship study group. That was needed for her. So let's say to get her out from this very complicated situation. She had unbalanced life with lot of fears without knowing where everything will lead with her. You can imagine, it's very, very, very difficult situation because sometimes you just lose your control and you can do nothing. And people after that tell you what happened with you. And now she is taking care of her own destiny, now she is taking control. She really has good control from her mediumship. She is studying, preparing to utilize her mediumship to help suffering spirits as member of group which has sincere will to serve Jesus. So there exists group of sincere people who are really willing to serve Jesus and make good things and study Spiritism. And she is one member of this group. And I know that it will be way to her happiness. And no long-term, if you look to understand the long-term consequences, they are much significant than these short-term results. So she has very big possibility to help many, many spirits. She is constructing very fine family, having very fine connection with her son, giving very stable education. So it's really promoting well-being. There is one case, it's the story of guilty complex. There was one person who has been making mistakes in his life. And he felt really bad from that. And then he started to study Spiritism. And then he started to understand the teachings of Jesus. Understand that everyone from here, if we remember how Jesus asked to take the rock and say that this one who has never been doing sin, take the rock and start to throw, and nobody was taken. So we understand that every one of us, we are making mistakes. And with this understanding, it was possible to this person to start to work more and make good things. Okay, we have been doing bad things, but we can make good things also. And important observation. This person was receiving frequent support and advices from other more experienced. And that helped to make misinterpretations and wrong decisions. His own studies regarding obsession and fascination helped him to notify these symptoms in himself. So this person was obsessed. Into deep depression and deep guilty complex, get also the spiritual connection in the very low rate. But when he started to study regarding obsession and fascination, and then he noted, but this looks very familiar, it's like me. So then he started to understand, oh, I'm in trouble. So understanding gave him the way to go ahead, and gospel study in group helped to understand limited forces alone, that reduced pride and helped to follow humility in his decision. And there was possible to receive support and help. So he was quite a bright person. He was that, no, I'm strong. I don't need help. But then when he started to study and he started to understand that what he really is, so then he started to know that, okay, recognize that we everybody need help from each other. So needed steps. Somebody arranged a study group. There he had own wills to study and learn. And now he is studying and working more balanced way in group, trying to help other people. Keep in mind teachings. Jesus teaches that you cannot, and actually it's from Chico Xavier, you cannot change what you have done. Anyhow, since today, you can start to build new end. And also the teachings from Jesus. Watch and pray. We need to really watch ourselves. We really need to pray and start to grow this our inner connection with God and good spirits. And we have to look that long-term consequences are surely more significant than these short-term results. For sure, challenges will continue, but there is now more strength to continue. So, let's say the bad life is possible to change good life. But low moral objective in life, it's possible to transform to good and elevated objectives in life. And it's possible for everybody. Story of family conflicts. We have cases when the person with Spiritist knowledge were receiving a lot of, let's say, demotivation from own family relations. They were saying that you are crazy and start to do something intelligent and you are crazy, etc. Sometimes even son and father, daughter and mother were having very complicated situations. Do some of them have some let's say, challenges in family? Do you? Or is it only me? Or is it only for... I think it's quite common for everybody. So, study of Spiritist philosophy makes it possible to understand that being in the same family has its reasons. Sometimes there is in the same family reincarnated spirits which has been causing suffering for each other. As natural consequence from that, there is needed now to construct relation which has been damaged due to our own acts and attitudes. It is important moment to learn and love each other. We have to construct with our patience and charity new health relations between each other, and Spiritist philosophy gives huge support for that. And gospel study in group helps to understand need of humility and practicing charity with our own family. So, needed steps. Somebody arranged books available to read and study group. There was also on will to study and practice, learn teachings in his or her own life. There were several cases like that. I would say this is quite common. And now these persons are living with family more balanced way. And this will be way to happiness. And all of these families, when they are going from this direction to that direction, from this direction to that direction, we understand in the future how big difference it makes in following decades. There is one case of faith recovery. And we understand that today Jesus was shown as mute, which is quite hard to believe actually. She changed water to wine, returns dead person to alive, walk above water. If we to explain these kind of things for today's society, they will people to start to think that you are crazy. Highlight love of God, but God condemns majority of people to eternal hell. That's very hard to understand that how somebody who is loving us so much, it's making us to destiny to go to the hell for eternity. So it's very complicated to understand. Other people born among vices and bad influences, and other among dignity and good educations. So they have different changes. This is different possibilities to progress and go to heaven. It's somehow injustice way of thinking. They have been seen frauds, abuses, and bad acts made by these persons who are proclaiming teachings from Jesus. So we know that different kind of religious movements, they have been doing quite bad things actually. But after the person in very difficult situation actually, where she was, she told that, today after studying, I almost every day pray, thank you Father to have possibility to your law and know these things which today so few people know. Let me be useful instrument for your will. And I feel receiving much more than I could never expect. And another person told, only after reading books of Kaarakainen, I understand gospel. So important observations. Study of Spiritist philosophy made possible to understand God and teachings what Jesus gave us. And now these persons are living with their families and receiving enormous help with their challenges through prayer and faith. And this is the way to win challenges and way to win happiness. And once more, these people, these persons, during the following decades, with their family members and with the field of influence, it will make huge impact. So these were real cases from our living environment, what we have been seeing with knowledge and understanding and studying of Spiritist philosophy. I can see that our time is now ending. So there was quite much more things to tell you, but I think that it's important to go through all of them quite quickly. Today, situation, society where we are having huge manipulation by media. The values of the people are very disturbed. Today people have bigger value for money and not from real charity, like this woman is giving her milk for the children and one ape which is in hunger. Children and youth education. These are the models what our children are receiving today. This is what they are trying to do today. This is for small kids to play. This is the video games what they are playing. The father and mother don't have time to play with children. They are arguing with other and children is growing in this kind of environment. Consequences of materialism. Materialism, when it proclaims that there is nothing after death, annuls all previous moral responsibility. This being consequently as inductive to badness, and that badness has everything to gain from nothingness. Avant-garde gospel according to Spiritism. So people are having this kind of emptiness in themselves. This is our society. This is the statistic, the quantity of suicides of the young women. And we can see that in Finland it's the worst situation. How spirituality and spiritism are seen today? People don't understand. We have philosophical aspect. In Spiritism, it tells where we are coming, where we know, and where we will go. It is made of, based on scientific method, codified by Allan Kardec, and he referred in his study 37 countries and 264 cities in his study. So it was really long study where is thousands of cases analyzed and collected together and made conclusions. I would say that in history, when humanity get information and became conscious of microorganisms that provided for a body of human being more health, it enabled effective prevention of diseases and actions which were promoting health restoration. Avoid the body illnesses. So when people learned that there is microbes, they started to wash their hands, and this avoided the illnesses of body. Now, knowledge of the Spiritist principle will promote mind of human being, her consciousness, his soul, his spirit, more happiness. It enables effective prevention to avoid unhappy actions, and it also promotes actions which are constructing happiness. So when we understand these consequences, we understand that Spiritism accepts what science proves, right? But it's not limited that area where science stops. Spiritism study causes and science study consequences. So to make this happiness, we need to understand the consequences of our acts. What kind of well-being Spiritism can promote in our living environment? We can give people consolation and hope when they understand that life will continue. It gives enormous relief for all of these. It will make us to understand and make good choice when we understand law of cause and effect. Whatever we do, it comes here back. So simple. It will provide to our society better well-being for family, moral education for our children. And look longer. Who will be the children of our children? It will be us. It will make peace and fraternity between countries, and this will make happiness. It gives also faith, understanding existence of God and teaching of Jesus. And it reconnects us to our Creator, which has been quite much broken. It makes all brothers and sisters. And it helps us to understand that only way to happiness is charity and love. What is the importance of group instead of single individual activities? We can go that or deeper in our work study, but we understand that single can't do too much. When we are organized together to make together good things, we will have much more force. And as a conclusion, Spiritism is like what our perturbed society needs to guide itself to get better roads. It's part of plans of God and Jesus, and all are invited to join this work to elevate to our society according to His own free will. I will repeat, according to His own free will, which is the basic principle of Spiritism. It's great possibility what we have in our hands in our actual incarnation. We really can bring light, and spirituality will help us according to our dedication. And I would like to thank also International Spiritist Council, because it is working to make this road more visible. Okay, thank you.